Hi guys, welcome to another video. So I'm Charlie and this is Vamos Gaming Systems. If you've gotten an invite to the closed beta for the 2XKO, which is the League of Legends franchise fighting game, that is currently, I don't think it's officially released yet, but if you got into the closed beta, congrats to you. Then if you're not, then you might be wondering that will this game actually run on my PC when it officially launches? So 2XKO, I mean, basically is the fighting game version of League of Legends. They're basically taking the League of Legends so-called characters, make it into a fighting game. And I've been playing it for a few, I think 1 hour or so. I've just gotten the closed beta invite like a few days ago, and I've installed it on this PC, which is my 9070 XT and the 7800 X3D system, and I also installed it in my other PC, my test bench PC. So while I was doing testing for another video, which will probably be up in a few days time, so stay subscribed for that. Basically, I'll be testing games with different CPUs, Ryzen 5600 as well as the Ryzen 7800 X3D, by running games in 4K to see whether CPU bottleneck actually affects games in 4K or not. So stay tuned for that. Stay subscribed if you want to watch a video comparison for CPU of 5600 versus 7800 X3D in 4K in games. So okay, back to this is that I got an invite for 2XKO, played a little bit, and I was wondering how the game would perform on lower end hardware. So in this video here, basically what I've recorded is gameplay footage on my test bench, which is the older AMD AM4 platform system. So I slotted in a 5600 CPU as well as a 6600 XT 8GB GPU, and this kind of configuration along with 16GB of VRAM, I think is CL, I forgot, but it's 3200 mega transfers, DDR4 16GB, and then it was running on an SSD, obviously, so a 2TB SSD. But anyway, the thing is, I wanted to test if this game runs decently well on older hardware, because so because it's a brand new game, it's in closed beta, so but it's playing fine. So I just want to check that when it releases, whether you can check with this video to see whether your system can run it. And spoiler alert, it can probably run it pretty well. So I'll just play this video here, and you can see that I've recorded gameplay footage of it, and this is actually in 4K. So I have a 4K monitor which I bought about last year, and so I'm gonna take advantage of the 4K monitor more and test out more games in 4K, as well as different systems that run games in 4K as well. So as I mentioned, this 5600 Ryzen CPU, along with maybe I can just move my screen a bit. So maybe move it above here. So this system, which is the Ryzen 5600 as well as the 6600 XT, is kind of like a mid-range system that you have built maybe 4, maybe even 5 years ago, back during like 2021, maybe 2022. Right, 4 years ago is about 2022, 5 years ago by 2021. So right after like the cryptocurrency boom, which is, I think it ended around 2021, GPUs would have gotten more affordable, like a 6600 XT would have gotten more affordable. Ryzen 5600 would have been still a decent mid-range chip, not too expensive. So this specs here with 16GB DDR4 VRAM, everything, would have been a decent mid-range system that would cost you probably about 1,000 or less than 1,000 SGD back about 4 to 5 years ago. So this was a system that most people would have, and if you're still running this system, I mean, it's still playable today, right? It's still capable of running games today. So if most modern systems nowadays would be more powerful than this, but if you're still running such a like mid-range or low mid-range system, then so you can still play this game pretty well. Coming back, the game is running in 4K, and you can see the gameplay is very smooth. Here my average FPS 61.7 is actually kind of like a bug, because I actually run uncapped frame rate in the menus, and maybe when I took my benchmark, I think the game was partially in the menu section and not only in the gameplay section. So that was why it was slightly inflated. But anyway, for this game, right, if you look at the top right hand counter here, you can see that the average FPS is locked at 60. So I've did a bit of googling, and so a lot of redditors as well as people online have mentioned that yes, even if you uncap the frame rate in the settings for 2xKO, there's no way the game will run above 60 FPS because it is fighting games are designed to lock at 60 FPS. I think it's for sake of fairness, as well as well, to ensure fairness in a way that maybe somebody that runs at 300 FPS don't have that additional frame advantage, right? It doesn't have like any advantage, and everybody get locks at 60 FPS whether you're running a higher end system or lower end system. And it's also really good for consoles, so that's why fighting games are really suitable for consoles, because consoles usually have a lower end hardware as compared to PCs, and you can run it fine on like a low end console PC. That means you will run fine on a console as well, such as a PS4, PS5, Xbox, etc. Right? So yeah, so game runs fine at 4K at locked 60 FPS, and gameplay is smooth. There's no hitching, no lag. I even tried it online. The netcode was good. Like actually, the earlier footage of this is not me playing, but it's like an online lobby. I'm just spectating between two players that are battling. But you can see the gameplay was really smooth. So since there's no problems at 4K, it also means that there's no problems for running this game at 1440p or 1080p, which I've actually tried it out as well. So if I fast forward, yeah, you can see that. Yeah, so this is what's inflating my score. So when the match ends and it goes into the menu section, the FPS actually spikes up because I run uncapped. Yeah, thinking that I could see higher FPS in game, and that was what inflated the numbers. But anyway, whether you're in 4K, 1440p, and 1080p on a Ryzen 5600 as well as 6600 XT, a pretty low end build by today's standards, you should have no problems seeing 60 FPS. And the thing is that I noticed that for this game, it is it is a 2D fighting game, and I don't see any quality difference between, like, well, 1080p maybe it's a little bit more pixelated, but basically even if you had a lower end system, you could run this game at 1080p and you wouldn't really suffer any like how should I say, any let me repeat that video again. You wouldn't suffer from any like visual disadvantages. Yeah, because honestly 1080p and 1440p, both of them look the same, and then they also don't look significantly worse than in 4K. So obviously 4K looks a little bit better, but yeah, so if you have any of the older machines, yeah, you can definitely run this game at 1440p and 1080p. But I am somehow curious on whether a lower end machine that what I currently tested will be able to run 2xKO at 4K. So the slowest CPU I have would be a Ryzen 1600, like 1600. So that is like Zen 1. So there's a Zen 1 CPU, and my lowest end GPU that I own would be 16. Well, technically I have a Vega 56, but yeah, so I could run that too, but not a lot of people have Vega 56. So like a 1660 Super, that would be my lowest end GPU that I own. So if any of you guys are interested for me to test 2xKO on an even lower end system than this, like a Ryzen 1 1600 CPU and a 1660 NVIDIA 1660 Super GPU, that will be a really low end system. You wanted me to test it in 4K? Yeah, I could probably hitch up those parts and do it for you guys real quick. So, and so that's it for testing. So in summary, 2xKO is a really well optimized game. It runs terrifically, like it runs at locked 60 FPS at 4K, 1080p, 1440p on even a low end system like the one I've tested. So you should have no problems running this game perfectly fine on your PC when it officially launches to the mass market audience. And that's it. We'll see you guys in the next video.